Hey, David French. It is so good to have you with Sycamore View today. Hey, David, I got a question for you, but let me start off just with a few things that I want Sycamore View to know. One, man, I was supposed to be with you back in July, and I got one flight in, one leg into my trip, and a bunch of cancellations. So, man, I hate that, but we look forward to me and possibly Jim Hinkle being with you at some point in 2025. Sycamore View, I also want you to know David will be with us in person on October 20th. We will have a combined adult faith class that day where, David, I know you'll have a lot more information to share with us about so many of the things that are going on in Zambia. And David, hey, right now, you and I are recording this on Thursday, September 12th. It's raining about, 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches of rain. There's a good chance some of us are going to lose power at some point today, and then we'll get power back by the night. That's kind of how it works. David, talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges with power and electricity in Zambia right now, because I think this is going to give us some things to pray for.
Yes, Zambia is going through a tough year. Our rainy season begins in November and it ends in April. This year, they did not have good rain. We had a serious drought. And the result of that is there's not much water in the rivers, and it did not fill Lake Kariba, which powers most of the country. And so Zambia doesn't have enough water to generate enough power for the country. When I was there in July, we were having power only about 8 hours a day. And now Karen is telling me they're getting it only 1 to 1.5 hours a day. And boy, that's really wreaking havoc with the economy. And of course, our ministry is being affected by that as well. Karen had about $500 worth of food in her deep freeze that ruined because the power is out so long. So we ended up having to buy a real big, expensive generator to run our water pumps because we depend a great deal on our campus for water. That's how the students grow their gardens, and because we're teaching them to be self-supporting through gardening and raising chickens, and we're looking maybe to add piggery to it as well here maybe in a year. But they need a lot of water. We have over 140 people living on our campus, so we had to buy a real expensive, I think it was $9,000 generator to run the pump so we could pump water on our campus, and it's taking us something like $600 a week to run that generator. So it's really hurting us financially right now with that. But it's really hurting the people of Zambia because the corn crop failed, and now we're having a famine. And so we got to get all the way to November before we hopefully will have a better rainy season this coming year. But you can imagine about 85–90% of the food that people eat is maize, which is corn product. And so food prices have gone up dramatically. Every year when the maize crops come in Zambia, I send Francis, our agriculture teacher, out to buy a lot of maize, and we buy a big bulk. We get a whole truck full, and I store it in a shipping container we have our own grinding mill. So we bought all that back in June, and so I'm able to sell maize to our students and staff at a much lower price this year than what you can get in the marketplace right now. So anyway, a lot of people though in Zambia are going without meals this year. Tough year.
Man, it sounds like it, because I think once or twice since we've lived here in Memphis in 17 years, there have been the rolling outages that we do in Memphis. And man, this lasts a few days for us. And I remember when I was coming out there in July, when I had planned to be with you, I think I had 12 hours of classes prepared to give, and also a sermon for Sunday morning. But you came back to me and you were like, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to use PowerPoint slides. There's a good chance the lights are going to be off, but the students still show up. And this is one thing I've always really loved about you, David. You're a visionary, and man, you've done hard things and you've been through hard things. And the way God still steps in to the mission that you were a part of there, that keep things going, even when electricity and power is causing a lot of issues for you guys. I mean, we still see the baptisms that are coming from you, many ministers and future ministers who are coming there to be equipped and trained, and churches that are being planted, and conferences that are being held. So, David, give us something to pray for you. And of course, we look forward to hearing more here in a few weeks, but give us something to pray for you and the mission there.
Well, I just would pray for the people of Zambia getting through this drought here. Pray for our students, because it's gotten tough. Life even on our campuses got in tough. Also, I'd pray for, we've got several building projects going on. We decided to add grade 8 and 9, and then the government changed the whole education system, and now we don't have a choice. We got to add grade 10 as well, and we're going to add early childhood development as well. So right now we're building a vocational center and early childhood center as well, because we really put a lot of work in our primary school. So really praying that our primary school will begin to develop, because that is really ministering to the children in our students' children, as well as in the community. And also pray for our graduates. They're out there. We're starting to hear great things from them. We had our first lectureship back in August, and main thing is to bring our students back to our campus so we could hear from them. And we had some great stories of things that they're doing out there in Zambia. They're planting churches, several churches. In fact, some of our students have planted 5 or 6 churches, and there's some great work that's being done. And one thing I've learned from this ministry all these years, we've had some tough years, but and then there's been financial challenges as well, like right now with all the extra costs we have with the power and fuel and all that. But the thing I have learned, 20 years we've been doing this, God always seems to provide. We've never not been able to pay our staff. We've never not been able to pay our basic needs. And for that's been a real faith lesson, to see how God is providing when we need it. We don't always have all we want, but God provides what we need. And that's been a real faith lesson for me for these 20 years.
Yeah. Well, David, I praise God for you, for the mission there, and we can't wait to see you in October, okay?
All right, we'll see you October 20th, and look forward to it.
All right. God bless.